Hey guys, my name is Dexter, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about self-awareness and key steps you can take to increase your level of awareness to change your life for the better. And you've probably heard people talk about self-awareness and how this is being able to understand yourself better, to see yourself more clearly and objectively. But I think one thing that people don't talk enough about when it comes to self-awareness is this idea of once you are aware of these things, you then need to be able to have the courage to be able to confront these uncomfortable truths about yourself for the areas in your life where you want to actually make a change. And one thing you just have to remember is that if you're not changing, you're still choosing. And what that means is if you are not doing something where you know it could be beneficial to your life, you are still making a decision to stay the same. So that is why it's so important that when you use self-awareness as a tool to change your life, that you actually have that ability to apply these things to improve your life. When it comes to this concept of self-awareness, we all know what the word awareness is. But what about the word self? In a psychological term, you can think of the self as your unique identity, experiences, values, and basically all the things that shape you. And this can be divided into two parts because there is both the subject and the object. Let's think about a cup of coffee, for instance. If you are looking at a cup of coffee, you are the subject who is observing the cup of coffee. And then the cup of coffee is the object. It's the thing that's being observed. Now, when it comes to self-awareness, you are both the subject and the object, meaning that as a subject, you are pure consciousness and you are the thing that's intentionally acting and deciding. While as the object, you are detaching yourself and seeing yourself and looking at all of your emotions, your feelings, your personality, and all the things of these behaviors that you are kind of putting out into the world. So when you're able to dissect the two, it gives you the ability to see yourself from a different perspective. And you can kind of think of it like watching a movie. If you're watching yourself in third person, then you can begin to ask yourself, like, what does this character do? What do they not do? How are they? What is their personality? What are their traits? You begin to see it from a different angle. And that's what self-awareness helps to do. Now, on this topic of the self, there's also another part of it, which is dividing it between the internal self and the external self. The internal self is your private thoughts, feelings, and values that only you know about yourself. On the other hand, the external self is how you are perceived by others. These are the things of how they view your personality, your actions and behaviors, and all the things that essentially give them a perception about you. Now, where there is a gap between your internal self and your external self, that is where it can create blind spots or misalignments. And a lot of people in this world, they might curate their external self because at the end of the day, we all want to be seen in a positive light, to be respected, to be viewed in a great way. But the problem with that is if that doesn't match with our internal self, where maybe we actually don't feel that great about ourselves, then that creates this misalignment and this gap that can sometimes become an uncomfortable truth that we're not willing to face. So some of the steps that you can actually take to increase your level of awareness between your internal self and your external self is to just ask trusted individuals in your life that you know have good intentions for you to give you brutally honest feedback about who you are. And you can't be defensive, you can't take offense to what they're saying, and to really lay it out and say, let me know what I am like and how I've been in my life so that I can make improvements from this. And what that will do is it gives you that fresh perspective to see the things that you might not have seen in yourself. And these are all those blind spots, which are the areas where you can decide to make those improvements or to at least accept those parts and those character flaws about yourself and to move on. The other part about self-awareness is also being aware of the story you've been telling yourself. This means you are identifying, and it has created the identity of who you are, and you're continuing to live out this story. And a lot of people might not even realize that they're living out this story. So if you're someone who is not happy with their life and you feel like your things don't go your way, you can't get the things that you want in your life, and you continue to tell yourself this story, so you view the world in a negative lens, what happens is you continue to live out that story that you continue to tell yourself. And this is where that idea of change happens. You have to be willing to change your personality, because your personality is your personal reality, and what you resist will persist. So as long as you continue to come from a place of resisting what you want, you might never get it because you're holding on too tightly for it. And one thing I like to explain to people when it comes to this idea of wanting things is that when people want to be happy, they want to be successful, they want to be at peace. This word want comes from a place of lack, because when you want to be happy, what you're actually saying is that you're not currently happy, but it is what you want. So in order for you to actually become happy, you ironically have to be happy. And that is why self-awareness helps you to look inwards, to understand it, so that you can be that thing and start becoming that thing instead of just wanting that thing. Because every time you have that difference between your reality and your expectations, that gap is that want. It's that misalignment. It's those blind spots. It's that area for growth. So because of that, you want to be able to close that gap and change from wanting to becoming. And that means when it comes to your story, you want to begin to be that story, become that person, change your personality and parts of your identity and the areas in your life that you want to improve. And I know all of us have areas where we're lacking, where we want to make changes, but instead of wanting to make those changes, just start taking those steps to change so that the world begins to reflect and reciprocate the things that you are, because like attracts like. That's just one of the principles in this world. So if you want to attract certain things into your life, you have to first become those things, and then those things naturally become a part of you as well. Another step when it comes to self-awareness is also just realizing that you are not all your thoughts and emotions. The average person can have up to 70,000 thoughts per day. Not all of those thoughts are productive, and not all those thoughts are what you really truly feel about yourself. So when you detach yourself and realize that the thoughts and emotions are a part of you, but they are not you, that gives you the power to then decide that you are not all your thoughts and your emotions. So don't get stuck into them, and begin to look at them and then decide for yourself how you want to make those tweaks to change your life over time. Now, the last step I wanted to mention when it comes to self-awareness is the idea of your energy and your focus. So a lot of people are driven. They're fueled by something. They're fueled by fear. They're fueled by negativity. And that thing drives them. So asking yourself the question of, am I driven by negativity or positivity? Am I driven by scarcity or am I driven by abundance? Am I driven by success or am I driven by failure? By being able to see these different areas and understanding what is actually fueling you, that gives you the power to choose what type of fuel you want to foster in your own life, and to begin to take away the ones that aren't helping you and might also be hurting you emotionally and in the story that you tell yourself within your life. So let me know in the comment section below how you are applying these tools within self-awareness to take advantage and really improve different areas within your own life. My name is Dexter. I'm a mindset coach. I talk about self-awareness, decision-making, as well as living a purpose-driven life. And if you gained value from this information, please don't forget to subscribe and also share this information with someone else who you think could benefit from this. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.